As you read in the title, yes, I'd like to discuss how Call of Duty isn't a game, and it's a trend. For years, and yes, years since 2003, Call of Duty has been a staple in gaming, known for its adult-level experience that definitely shouldn't target children. Yet, here we are, and I'm sure everyone knows what an old COD lobby is, the thing that basically created chronically online racists and people with horrid anger issues. I'm gonna be Hokage one day! But it's not just a cesspit for toxicity. At its core, COD has always been one of the greatest first-person shooters ever developed. And beyond games like Halo, Battlefield, etc., which you might be thinking, Cryptic, come on bro, Halo? Seriously? Well, Halo hasn't exactly had a great recent track record either, and it hasn't really resonated well with its community. Its exclusivity to only Xbox, and I guess technically the few who do still play it on PC, but that's about it. And I don't know about you guys, but when's the last time you went anywhere online and saw an ad for Xbox, or even on TV? Yeah, me neither. But the point that I'm making is COD has kept a nice road of success paved for itself for a very long time now, as many at the time would agree. Ghosts or Advanced Warfare were, simply put, the worst, yet had great memorable campaigns, great reviews, and lest we forget the famous Press F meme, and many more. But what about recent CODs? There's been way more drama around the quality of modern Call of Duty, but why is that? Well, on paper, it's pretty easy. Maximize quantity over quality. Let's just make a game with a great, shiny new engine, awesome new mechanics, and a fun campaign. And for the hell of it, let's even add Battle Royale too. Well, actually that popped off. Seriously, well, really popped off. Thanks to Warzone, it let a lot of small creators make their debut as notable creators, and large ones became even larger. Why? Because it was competitive, and it was fun, and everybody liked it. Especially when at the time of Warzone 1, Fortnite was still in its prime, so that makes sense. It had good graphics, it sounds nice, it had cool gun skins, funny skins, and let me forget the scene and story where you play as a literal child trying to kill people. But would a game in the franchise seeming this good really be too good to be true? Well, later on we got Modern Warfare 2, which was 2019, but with what the devs thought was a much needed facelift, which turns out nobody liked the new movement. The animations were basically a one-to-one with 2019, so what gives? Well, let's do Warzone again, but 2.0. They love the first one, right? Well, apparently not. Warzone 2 got more backlash than Joe Biden talking about ice cream during a presidential speech.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Why? Because Movement in 2.0, Warzone was so fast-paced, and not to mention slide canceling. Slide canceling was finally removed, so what did that do? Well, hardcore players and streamers immediately blamed that mechanic being gone as bad, even though nobody else had it. So technically, that being a problem kind of cancels itself out, except it wasn't a problem, because COD's just removing a feature that most players liked. And you can always argue, well, I just got off a 9 to 5, I just want to enjoy a game. Well, I hate to say it, but it's a competitive game, no matter how you look at it. You're going to get on it, and even with any other mechanics, people are going to play competitively. People are going to try to maximize efficiency while they play, making sure that they're going to win, usually in the flashiest way possible. That's just how it is, whether you like it or not. So removing this one feature in the game isn't going to do anything. You're not going to get any better, because now the people that were really good with it are going to just become really good without it. Kind of how it works. It's kind of survival of the fittest. I know it's kind of weird to put that in a video game standard, but its principle still totally works. So Modern Warfare 3 comes around. What do? They add it back. Wouldn't you believe it? Everybody hated the fact that they took slide canceling out, so they added it back. I wanted to stay away from these two particular Call of Duties, but I can't not talk about them. For one, Cold War. What on earth were they thinking? I don't know about you guys, but do you remember playing the Cold War beta and getting absolutely beamed like JFK from an MP5? Well, I try not to, as it's haunted me ever since. But while plenty liked it, most hated it. It was unbalanced, unrealistic, so naturally it didn't resonate well with people. The colors were incredibly cartoonish looking, and the campaign was not memorable. It had a couple memes come out of it, but not because it was super good. They were just bad memes, glitches, etc. And a lot of you are probably already thinking, Cryptic, why does an arcade shooter like Call of Duty need to be realistic? Because COD used to be, not including optional skins you could buy in the game, but the game used to be realistic for their setting that they were set in. For example, back in COD World War II, which you know, loved, it was a World War II game in a World War II setting. Mechanically, it was realistic and fun, if you exclude the skins, since they don't actually affect anything, but regardless, it had heart. It was gritty. The graphics for the game that came out in 2017 were phenomenal. The story was beyond peak. Seriously, if you guys don't know anything about the Call of Duty World War II campaign, please go check it out, or like just watch a playthrough or something, buy the game, I don't know, play it. You're actually missing out on peak. And it was a history buff's wet dream. Vanguard, on the other hand, the other Modern Warfare 2 modern thing, yeah, well, nobody else remembers it, and, well, nobody liked it. Pretty sure that it would have just been better to not release this one, but whatever. It's not my game development budget being wasted. Wrong. It actually did affect consumers. How? Because you, the consumer, are buying it, so naturally, you buy COD almost every year. Why? It's COD. You're probably a guy, and it's sick. You get your favorite gun, you shoot bad guys, you talk trash online. What more do you need? Well, for a small minority that might fly, but for the rest of us who don't fancy spending $70 to $100 on a game, it better damn well be perfect. You could argue, yeah, but the devs are put on other projects, or the CFOs don't give them enough creative freedom. Yeah, and how is that something consumers should care about? We're just trying to find escapism in our lives, not pay $80 for some goofy skins of a copy and paste game from last year's simulator. How is COD copy and paste? Because the engine from 2019 Call of Duty is being used in Black Ops 6. It's the exact same. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. Yes, it's literally the same. Haven't you noticed how the look of COD in the last few years hasn't changed? Don't get me wrong, it looks good, but haven't you noticed that it hasn't changed? And by engine, by definition, when you're developing a game on a particular engine and you don't change that engine, the problem with that's going to, game itself is going to just look very similar for if there is a predecessor. Because, well, why would you change that much heavily when everything's already pretty much there? All you really need to do is just change a couple animations and yeah. You could also argue, but omnidirectional command, it's not a breaking mechanic, nor did anyone want it. Ghost Recon had this for years. Okay, but Cryptic, what does it all have to do with COD being just some fad or trend that people hop on? Because you aren't buying COD every year because it's getting better and better. Mechanically, it's staying the same. You know what other game company does this? EA. Yep. Ever seen, 3 or even 4 NBA or FIFA games put together and you could spot the difference? Me neither. There's a new standard for gaming. You can spend less on budget, put less work into it, and still break people's wallets. How? Trends. You're relying on your game's popularity from years ago, keeping players, and no, not people physically playing like Call of Duty 2019, but that's what was good. If we look at COD Modern Warfare 2019, mechanically and graphically, that was peak COD of all time. Like, that's where it peaked. Just doesn't get any better than that. But does that really mean you should just keep renaming it and reselling it the same each year with just a different coat of paint? So you, the person that bought the digital deluxe for $160, so what did you get out of it? The battle pass and some tier skips, 2 skins and a weapon blueprint? Before you think anything, yes, you bought tier skips to a battle pass, so something that's already digital that you don't actually have any interactivity with, other than, I guess, visually and mentally. You spent actual money to skip the gameplay. So the point of the battle pass is to grind it out by playing the game. You paid money to just skip that part. I think you guys see where I'm going with this. That, maybe a gun and a blueprint or two, maybe a skin. My brother in Christ, you paid almost $200 for some lines of code. You could argue, well, it's my money, I want to do what I want with it, which is fine and definitely fair, but because of you, the standards for what a good game are is so incredibly low that you can't see that Black Ops 6 and Modern Warfare 2 are the exact same games with a few tweaks to make them marketably different. And what do I mean by marketably different? Well, take omnidirectional movement. That was the huge, basically the main selling point of Black Ops 6. It's just new Black Ops, because the Black Ops title is super popular. New movement. Boom. That's all that people needed. That's good enough. Take 2042. It came out broken, it played bad, and nobody liked it. A hero class system? Really? Battlefield is a game where you play as a support and supply your teammates with ammo, repair tanks, or you play as a medic, revive teammates to ensure victory in numbers so your team lose less tickets. You could also argue, yeah, but it's fixed now, so now that you needed to wait like a year for the game to just get good? Sure. The point is, these games are just trends that people hop on just as much as the trends of people hating on certain games because they're actually good. A lot of people like to call games like Fortnite totally dead, yet it's still doing good. There's still millions of people playing it. Oh, well, this month it was only 700,000 people playing the game instead of 1.3 million. Yeah, but that's better than Call of Duty. And it's free. Like, you can't really argue those. That's just my opinion. That's my bias on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.